Many people today are concerned of the decline in marrying rate in the US. Well, in 1960, 74% of whites were married, and in other, 72% of Hispanic and 61% of blacks were also married. But today, this figure decreased dramatically with only about 55% of whites, 48% of Hispanic, and 31% of blacks were married. So, young people aging from 18 to 24 has also declined really rapidly. So in 1960, 49% of young people were married, while today it was only 9% of them were married. Controversies about the marriage culture in the US um, agreed that economic and cultural elements interacted with each other that eventually caused some changes. So today, the ways Americans look at families today and how they change over time. Today, I'll talk about it based off the writings of sociologist Barbara Defoe Whitehead by looking at three different periods of time. The first one is the mid-1940s to the mid-1960s, which was the era of traditional families, which this period took place after the World War II and was characterized by a very strong economy of the United States. It was also the growth of standard of living and also middle class. The typical configuration of the family in these years was a traditional one, a married couple with children where the husband worked and the wife stayed home. Back then, the divorce rate was low and the birth rates were high. TV programs often depicted a family in this traditional configuration as a working father, happy housewife, and a mother and children. Uh, these were the three iconic characteristics that stood out in this period and had and depicted really clear gender roles. Things change. Things change when the period of individualism that lasts from the mid 1960s to the mid 1980s. So there were three important social and political movements. The first one is sexual evolution, that sex was no longer always reserved for marriage, and also women's liberation movement, a now growth of the struggle for civil rights that challenged discrimination against women socially general. And the last one it was against the Vietnam War, which was believed to be more political than rather than social. There were also two important social developments which suggest women can do much better and more than raising children and taking care of the family, which two of them was a stronger focus on one's profession, and the drive for self-expression and self-fulfillment. The feminist movement challenged the traditional gender roles and society's male domination, where women began to enter professions like medicine, law, management, and men began to consider a more active role in raising children. Economic changes in the United States also affected families by raising rapidly the costs of living, which determined for women to work outside home and support family more, and also changed the picture of the family. So that a new configuration formed where a family in which the husband and wife both work. So more women had jobs, and which also caused less economic pressures that forced them to stay in unsuitable marriage, and which resulted in the double divorce rate within a decade. So marriages were less attractive for women. So in the present, which also called the period of the new family, most people are happy about the social changes that occurred in the second period, and women are still not willing to give up gender equality, the freedom to live from unsuitable marriage, or the fulfillment of an interesting job. Many experts claim that children had, on the other side, paid a high price for these social changes. Young people often spend long hours away from their parents or homes, and school-age children often pass after-school hours home alone while parents were working. Many children will grow up with one parent or with step-parents. So young people nowadays are more cautious about marriage than in the past. They still want to get married and have children, but they are willing to wait for the right person. And also, they desire to get educated and have good jobs before marrying. Some statistics and can also support these findings, looking at the median age for the first marriage in the US. In the present, the median age for men to marrying is 28.7, while women are 26.5. But back in the 1916, men were 22.8 and women were 20.3. So the present ideal family is children with parents, especially fathers spending much more time with their children than in the past. And also more upper and middle class children have more structured activities like music lessons, sports, etc. So in the conclusion, the changes in families over the last 50 years caused some politicians, religious leaders, social scientists, and everyday people a lot of concern, with worrying about the decline in today's marriage rate. All the static all the statistics could only show us the general attitude towards family and marriage, which are completely different now. Um, this can be also one example of the U.S. society has changing.